And so what we did was use our point slope formula to write our equation. What was that formula, the point slope formula? Look back from yesterday if you need to.
Y minus y1 equals m times x1 minus x2.
Good. X minus x1. Yes. And x and y remained x and y. We plugged our point in for the x1, y1, and I gave you the slope. Today the difference is I'm not going to give you the slope. I'm just going to give you 2 points. Now just as a refresher, we have found slope before. We know slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We've done that a lot. We had it on our quiz. We have to know that formula. The point slope formula from yesterday is y minus y1 equals mx minus x. Okay, it's very similar to our slope formula if you were just to multiply over the bottom, so it's no longer a fraction. But these are the 2 formulas that we are going to be using today. So if I look at number 1, I want an equation of the line going through these points. My final equation has to be in slope-intercept form. So, we need what first?
y1 and y2 and x1 and x2.
We need to identify those so that we can find our slope. So this is like our x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope is y2, so -1, minus y1, which is 7. x2 is 1, minus x1, which is -3. So -1 minus 7, or -1 plus -7 is -8. Minus negative is positive. 1 plus 3 is 4. But I always want this reduced as much as we can. So -8 over 4 would turn into
2 over 1.
-2. Yeah. You could write it as 2 over 1. I'm just going to keep it as a whole number. So -2. All right. Now, to get my equation. Yesterday I gave you a slope and I gave you a single point. So I have a slope. We just found it. And I only need 1 point. It actually is not going to matter which of the 2 you pick. The final equation will be the same. That's why we're going to write it in y equals mx plus b form at the end. So pick one of your points. Let's say I just go with the first one. Now I'm doing my point slope formula to get my equation. So y is the variable y minus my y1 was 7 equals m, -2, times x minus x1, which was -3. Okay, minus a negative becomes positive. So y minus 7 equals -2x minus 6. Get y by itself, we have to add over the 7. So we get a -2x plus 1. So these are essentially 2-step problems. We have done both steps previously. Now we're putting them together. We have found slope. We were doing it on our last quiz. Yesterday we wrote the equation. Just now we have to do both at once. Any questions there? Story number 3. So first we need our slope. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope y2 is -6 minus y1 is -1. Okay, so on top, negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. On the bottom, 4 minus 2 is 2. Does that reduce at all? No. So that is my slope. To write my equation, I need a point and a slope. I'm just going to keep going with that first point. So now I'm using my point slope formula from the top. Y stays as y minus y1 is negative 1 equals m, negative 5 halves, x minus x1. Minus a negative is positive, so y plus 1. We distribute, we get a negative 5 halves x. What's negative 5 halves times negative 2?
5.
Plus 5. Subtract our 1. We get negative 5 halves x plus 4. You guys try number 5. Okay. So slope y2 is negative 5 minus y1 is 1. x2 is 0 minus x1 is negative 8. Negative 5 plus negative 1 is negative 6. 0 minus negative, so 0 plus 8 is 8. Does that reduce? Yeah, what's that turn into? So our slope is negative 3/4. So now I have my slope and my point. So our point slope formula. Y minus y1, so y minus 1 equals m, negative 3/4, times x minus negative 8. Minus negative is positive. Negative 3/4 times x would be negative 3/4 x. Negative 3/4 times positive 8 is negative 6. Add our 1. So we get y equals negative 3/4 x minus 5. How did we do? Good? Okay. So walking around looked like we were doing pretty well, still making a couple mistakes, so let's try maybe one more together and one more on your own. And if we get those, then we'll stop, okay? If I went to number 7, so you guys tell me, where do I begin? X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So our slope, how do we find that? You're gonna get shy now. Mr. Talton walked in. How do we find our slope?
y2 minus negative 14.
Good. Over.
3 minus negative 5.
Alright. Minus a negative becomes positive. So 2 plus 14 would give us 16. Minus a negative, so positive. 3 plus 9 is 12. But what do I need to check on that?
If you can lower it.
If we can lower it. If it reduces. 16 over 12, what's that turn into?
4/3.
4/3. We divide them both by 4. So now I have my slope. Pick a point. And we're going to go to our point slope formula. So y minus y1, so minus negative 14, equals m, which we just found was our 4/3, times x minus x1 is negative 9. The minus and negative is getting a few of you. Every time you have minus and negative, what does it become? Positive, yes. Okay, so y plus 14 equals 4/3 x. Okay, 4/3 times 9 And then final step. Yep. So y is 4/3 x minus 2. All right. Show me what you can do. You guys do number 9. When you get it, let me see your paper. Straight. If you struggle with that, write it out. x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so on top, 2 minus 7 is negative 5. 6 minus negative, so 6 plus 4 is 10. And what's that reduced to? Negative 1/2. So then we can do point and a slope. Y minus y1 equals m, negative 1/2, x minus negative 4. Okay, minus a negative is positive. So we get negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. Add the 7. So negative 1/2 x plus 5. Alright, walking around, looks like you knew the process, but there were a lot of errors on that one. Let's try number 11. See if you can get that one. y1, x2, y2. So y2 is 2 minus negative 1. x2 is 0 minus 4. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 0 minus 4 is a negative 4. So my slope is negative 3/4. A couple people lost that negative there, which messed up the rest of the problem. Then if we have our point and our slope, y minus negative 1 equals negative 3/4 x minus 4. Minus a negative is positive. Distribute negative 3/4 x plus 3. Subtract our 1, so we get negative 3/4 x plus 2. Alright, so what I'm seeing, you guys know what you're doing, but you're rushing and missing signs, and that messes up everything. So I'm going to go ahead and give you homework. It's just like yesterday, 10 questions. If you get done, you can check it. I'm also going to look at them when you hand it in. If you have a lot of them wrong, I'm going to make you sit down and redo it. Okay? So take your time, make sure you're not messing up on your signs as you go through.